I will introduce the definition of shadow economy and finally draw the conclusion. Shadow economy is an illicit economic activity existing alongside a country's official economy. It means economic activity that is undeclared and for which taxes that should be paid or not. The shadow economy includes criminal activities such as drug dealing and smuggling, as well as legal jobs such as gardening, working in construction, or selling products to car drivers at traffic lights. This part of the economy also includes situations where individuals are forced to work as slaves with no pay, or where work is carried out in exchange for things other than money.
I collect statistics on shadow economy on Thailand. This graph shows that Thailand's shadow economy as a percentage of GDP. For that indicator, we provide data from 1991 to 2050. The average value for Thailand during that period was 50.63%. In a way, the government seems to accept the informal sector as a constituting part of the country's economy. Otherwise, it would be impossible to release official unemployment rate that have been below 1% for years. The jobless rate among the lowest in the world. The explanation is that Thai Statistics Office sees all the people working in the informal sector as self-employed, which keeps them out of jobless statistics. From this graph, we can see that the size of informal sector was about 3/4 and tended to decrease over time. However, the estimated informal sector was quite large since the Social Security Act does not apply to all employment in the country, so resulting in overestimated figures. The graph shows that the size of the informal sector is estimated to be about half of total employment. The share of on-account workers is used to approximate the size of the informal sector as they intend to conceal their sales or revenue so as to avoid paying taxes. The 2019 survey shows that about 55% of total employment were engaged in the informal sector. When comparing the result for 2005 to 2017, it was found that the proportion of informal employment remained stable throughout the period.
Shadow economy has resulted in 4 key challenges. 1. Ineffective economic policies. 2. Untapped productivity. 3. Lack of social protection for labor in informal sector. And 4. Corruption. In Thailand, the informal sector accounts for about 30% of all employment for college-educated workers. However, these jobs are in less capital-intensive sectors such as retailing and restaurant. Hence, the workers have lack of exposure to productivity enhancing technology. What does it mean? It means an economy performs below its potential when skills of its labor remain stagnant. Skill mismatch among university educated workers potentially is an evidence of low quality of education or field of study, i.e. syllabus that is not highly in demand. From the data, we can see that Thailand's university graduates are concentrated in social science and in humanities. Number of college graduates in science and technology is only 24% of all graduates. However, technology is becoming more important in manufacturing and medicines of the modern economy. The shadow economy in Thailand has absorbed unemployed workers resulting from the 1997 economic crisis. According to ASEAN Development Bank report 1999 stated that 2 million less educated labour and new university graduates lost their job within 1 year after the crisis. However, employment in the informal sector is not covered or insufficiently covered by formal arrangements such as social protection, contribution to pensions and medical aid, or the right to paid sick leave or annual leave. In 2017, informal employment represented around 28% of total employment in Bangkok, which accounted for 42% in urban Thailand and over half 56% of total employment in Thailand. The challenges: Thailand remained vulnerable to natural disaster. The worst flood in 2011. Majority of the working age population in the informal sector still has no income security and lack access to skill development opportunities. It is very challenging for Thailand government to extend coverage to such size of the informal labour and their family members. Given that Thailand has relatively large informal economy with limited reforms in democratization process, rent seeking may be deemed necessary in the absence of legal taxation for collective action problem in public goods and economic modernization. Lack of political commitment in fighting corruption, since the underlying rationale of a continuation of rent seeking served to tax the large informal economy in Thailand is to minimize income from unproductive corruption.
Here is 3 solutions to overcome shadow economy in Thailand. The informal sector can be improved by the government through their full support. For example, small business with a great potential must be aimed at by the government and developed through the creation of flea market. Secondly, access to social protection. There are several schemes to social protection such as universal coverage scheme. It's providing universal health care. Second, universal 500 baht scheme to provide income security to those aged more than 60 years. And lastly, social protection floor joint team. This establishment of social security measure to compensate for the income loss caused by work-related injuries, sickness or maternity or so on. And last one of the Thai policy which is one tambun and one product that distribute land title with an objective to extend the coverage of legitimate capitalism. Local entrepreneurship program launched by Thaksin to encourage village communities in each tambun, it means sub-district, to marketize and improve the quality of their product.
From our presentation, we have a preliminary understanding of the shadow economy and Thailand's situation. Further studies could be done to develop other approaches to estimate the size of the informal sector, possibly through the use of surveys, administrative data, and estimation models.